Good afternoon, YouTube. It's your man, always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, bodybuilding. It's gonna be. We got some shows coming up in the next few months. As you know, the season's really starting about this time. Usually picks up around about close to summer because this is where a lot of the ladies are in condition. They're ready, they're set because there's not a lot of show for women's bodybuilding or physique in the first year. It was back in the day. He did have those divisions at the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic, but he pushed them out. And most promoters are not giving these ladies opportunity to compete. Now, right here we have my Ace Bone Coon, my partner in crime, the hand of the Emperor, Jen. Jen.
Hello.
How you doing? And we like last week we heard the put out the list for the Master Olympia. Now, if you know anything about the Master Olympia, it goes back years ago. Good part. It started about in the '90s, and it was a show, it was a show that it was used to be part of the main Olympia, where it was like competitors, mostly the guys, mostly which I used to remember. It was competitors who were like much older competitors. Those guys are legends. Those guys who just who still had it, but just it's hard to really compete with these up and comers. And it was gone for a few years, and they decided to bring it back because Jake Wood owns the Olympia. He owns the rights to the Olympia, and in this year they decided to bring it back, but they're going to have it in Romania. And I said, "Wow, are we in Romania? Why not put it part of the main Olympia? I mean, it makes more sense. I mean, to me, it would make more sense. But I don't know. It's just there's a lot of stuff going into. I think one thing is I think they think it's cheaper and production values or whatever else. But it's going to make its debut this coming the end of August. And here it is. This is the Jake Woods. Sorry, Joe Weider, because it's still, even though it's been I think almost 8 or 9 years since Joe Weider passed, and still his name and image is used all over on the Olympia. The 2023, the Joe Weider's Olympia Masters of 2023. Now, there's a lot of talk about it. Some competitors wouldn't interest because you got to travel all the way to Romania, and I understand the travel, but that thing is opportunity to compete. You got to go where you got to go, and right now the promoting this show, as Jake owns the right to the Olympia. The person promoting is Alina Popa, and it's in her backyard of Romania. And like I said, I'm always keep saying this. I got to meet Alina, in person, and it's in I forgot the name of the city. It's Koju or something like that. How to pronounce the name?
What's of Romania?
Yeah, for the city they were supposed to have it in.
Uh, uh,
If you look at the screen, I think it should be. It's right here on the screen. Let me see, right here. Right here. That's the city they have it in. Did you know? Is this Koju, or how they ever say it? It's somewhere in Romania, and that's where they have it. I
shoot,
think.
yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
and
really know that city.
yeah. I mean, it's like I think of Romania. I think I know Budapest. I think is that in Romania? Was that was that Budapest or was it
Bucharest.
Bucharest? Bucharest. Okay, Bucharest. Okay, it's one of them.
You're
Bucharest,
getting
Budapest.
getting Budapest mixed up. Bucharest.
Yeah, yeah. That's I remember they did Blade two in that country some years ago. That's why I know about Romania. But other than that, and then Lena Popa, and I knew the president of Romania was Nicolae Ceausescu. That was like he's been dead for about 20 years or more. But here you have here Lena and
30
Jake.
years.
Hmm?
More like 30 years. But yeah,
Oh yeah, 30. Damn, time flies. You know what? Shit. Because that was the end of the Cold War, end of communism. He was a communist. So yeah, 30 years. Oof, time flies. And here's Big Jake Wood, who's he's the man, and then there's Alina, right there. And they already, I mean, they're prepared for it. I mean, there's the venue where they're having it. It's this guy's we hope to get a lot of people there. This is the thing is, if you get enough people to come to this show, enough bodies, next year probably be better. I know a lot of ladies who applied because you had to apply. This is an invitation show. You had to apply, and a lot of ladies applied to this show. One lady who I did an interview a while back, and I've come acquainted with, is one Miss Melanie Horton. And Melody, she didn't get to apply. She didn't get the she wanted to compete so bad this show, and I feel bad for Melody because she's a great lady. She's been competing since the good part of the '90s. Took a step back and become a mom and a wife, and she came back into the about the mid 2000s to compete again, and and she wanted to take part in this show. And we're gonna get her words right here from Melody.
I'm Melanie Horton. I have to be the Women's Physique Pro, and I want to be part of history when Mr. Olympia Masters returns in 2023. Bodybuilding's been a huge part of my life for almost 30 years. I have a passion for the sport. I love the determination. I love the challenges. I love the camaraderie and the community in the sport. I believe that when you do what you love and stay true to yourself, you inspire others to do what they love. That's the impact I want to have in the sport. I want to inspire people to go after their big dreams, to never give up, to keep chasing goals, and never quit. I'm Melanie Horton. I'll see you in Romania.
Well, sorry, Melanie, you did not make the list, and I know she was very disappointed about it because she's a great lady. I mean, I admire her, her passion for the sport, and the work she's put into it. I mean, and this woman's almost 60. She's 59 years old. I think she's gonna be 60 this year, and she has a great physique. Good muscle development, and like I said, it's a lot harder for these women who get much older to maintain that level of muscle. So we're going to go in on the list, and the list is here, as for the show. I mean, I gotta go up here on the, they posted the list already, and here's the list. Now we're going to skip through the men's open part because we don't care about the guys. That's 212. Classic physique, men's physique, and here we are here with women's bodybuilding. Hooray! And we have at least, I would say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There's going to be more women at this show than at the actual Olympia for women's bodybuilding.
Wow.
Yeah, we just got a guest that's come in here. Yes, it's heard of we got here KLA.
What's up?
Hey,
What's up?
hey, welcome, sir. How you doing?
I'm all right, hanging in there. You?
Yeah, I'm doing
What's
good.
up,
I'm doing
Jack?
good.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we invite KL also because he's a fan of bodybuilding. Also, we can get perspectives. We can talk about competitors that we both, follow or know, and give our thoughts about this upcoming Master Show. Now, we're gonna go back to the list again, and on the list is, like I said again, is 17 ladies competing for this show. Now, some of these ladies are familiar, some may not be as familiar. Some, have been to the Olympia in the past, the main Olympia, and others, this is going to be, I think one lady, most definitely, this would be her debut at this show. And that is Amy Jimenez. And as Abby Jimenez. Abby is from the Philippines. And she's been competing since, I think, a good part of the mid 2000s. She turned pro back in 2019, but she hasn't competed, as a pro, but she earned a pro card in physique. And, and this is going to be her first pro show. As you know, during the pandemic, we all know a lot of countries were closed down. The Philippines was one of them. My friend, shout out to my man, Richard 23 had, he's been going through some stuff recently and lost his house, but he used to go to the Philippines because he had a girlfriend back there. And they shut down the Philippines for, you couldn't get in, you couldn't get out for nearly 2 years. But they lifted the restrictions almost around about the first of 2022 because she was at some places. I saw pictures of her at the New York Pro last year, and then also she was at the Olympia because I remember I saw a video of her hugging Andrea Shaw, and this is going to be her debut in women's bodybuilding. And surprised this lady. I mean, like I said, I follow her on social media, and this is she really has put on some size. Like I said again, she earned her pro card as a physique competitor originally, but then she decided to make her debut in women's bodybuilding at the Masters Olympia. Because there's not too many shows overseas other than like the Romanian Muscle Fest, and also she might do another show if because this is an invitational. But ain't Abby, she put on a little all size from her when she got a pro card back in 2019.
Mm.
Right? She
Yeah, I've
put on,
seen her before. She's big.
yeah, and she like I said, she's Filipino, so she's it's that's more of a Asian kind of South Pacific, South Pacifica uh, type. Usually those ladies don't get as large, but it's also she's a mother because this month is Mother's Day. She's a
Mm.
mom. She's married. And she's really has put on some size. And some are wondering. I had some people reach out to me and some wondering how does this woman get invited? She hadn't even competed as a pro. Like I said, the thing is about this sport's about popularity more than anything. And the people that's out there who are politicking, who try to really get themselves out there to get to be seen. That's the thing about this. You have to put into work. I understand that I know some ladies who I follow, they want to be at the show because this is a great opportunity for women who are much older, to have their own stage, much older competitors. But she has she has good condition, good size. She got good size, but I'm hoping she might do another show, see how she does. In make her pro debut with something else. I wouldn't say this show is a great show for pro debut. You really want to test your mettle against other competitors, especially those who are much older, much younger than you, who and see if you can how you weigh yourself up against them.
Yeah, yeah, it's mostly a show, I think, for like seasoned pros who've been doing this for a very, very, very long time. And yeah, I just don't think this is the best for pro debuts.
Yeah, I think it's I know it's invitational, but especially I think that's why I felt more Melanie should have got her spot because she's a seasoned pro. But that's she's competing physique, and and I think she deserved her opportunity to be a competitor. But like I said, all depends how she looks. As you know, this show is also a Olympia qualifier. So you can because as you know, the number of qualifiers for the Olympia is next to really much. People says it's 8, but to me it's 7 because you can't really count the Rising Phoenix as long as Andrea is competing at the Rising Phoenix. I don't see anybody beating her. And then I think there was talk about maybe I think somebody I think you said KO that what she do is give it the spot to the second placer. But then you got to think about it. This is also an invitation show, so you can have somebody who already earned their pro card um, at the at a show. Already earned their Olympic qualification at one show, but then coming to this show, if just about it, if most of the lineup is people who already won their Olympic qualification, and maybe it might be a few here and there who didn't win qualification, it's going to be hard to pass it on to the next person who's in line because they already qualified. Mm-hmm. So it's just I don't know. I know what Jake could probably do. He'll do like he did with Irene. He might like he did with Irene. It might be a special invitation for some people. He did that for Irene last year. Um, maybe we would get some people to come in, and maybe just I don't know. It's just something has to be done. I think like I said again, we need more shows for these ladies in sport. Better opportunities for them. We can only hope and wish for the best. Right. So next up on the list is another lady. Her name is Barbara Mogin, and I don't know much about her. I think she's from I think she's from somewhere in South America. She's either uh, Brazilian or something. Like I said, I think she
The
competed.
feeling you was gonna say that.
Hmm?
And I said I had a feeling you was gonna say Brazil.
Yeah, because Brazil is a growing. It's a very growing. Because you got to think about it. Wellness come from Brazil, and there's a lot of it's very popular fitness background in Brazil. Also, as you know, I'm a big fan of MMA. A lot of MMA fighters come out of Brazil. And Barbara, she's also a lady who this is she. I think she originally was a physique competitor, but now she switched over from physique to women's bodybuilding. I think you can see a lot of ladies who are jumping over. I think there's one thing I think me rub some women raw that I know that you see these ladies who are physique competitors switching over. I think she was a bodybuilder, but I believe she was also physique. And she posted that she's going to be at the Masters. I can't read anything here because it's all in a different language. I can tell from this picture right here, she was a physique competitor. She doesn't. Maybe she was a bodybuilder at one point, but she was actually more or less a physique competitor.
Para bem, para muito.
Yeah, a lot of the competitors I looked up, were former physique competitors competing.
Hmm. Yeah, because like I said, it's not that many pure female bodybuilders anymore. Because a lot of the ladies, some have went down from bodybuilding to physique because as you remember back those years ago, they were pushing out women's bodybuilder. But she has a good amount of size, density, a lot of muscle. The tattoos, like especially around the arms and the delts, that's really covering up some of your muscle detail. I think that's the one thing some that can really hurt you in the long run. She has that good grainy muscle development. That's what they want to see in women's bodybuilding. They want to see that grainy vascular muscle.
Yeah,
They don't want you to be too soft and too feminine. Like I was watching this afternoon, I was watching they did a wrap up review of the Vancouver show last weekend. How they talked about how Andrea Sauer came in a little softer than she's supposed to. She said people said don't have these separations, but that's the thing is they keep changing the criteria. They want you to come in hard and shredded, but then you turn around another show and say we want you to come in soft, and then you hear from one person to another. It's just crazy what they're doing. Mhm. But like I said, this is another lady that I don't know much about. I just pulled up her information on here and just found some pictures. Another lady here who competed last year in bodybuilding, but for pretty much a good part of her career, she's been a physique competitor. But also about this lady, she is a cancer survivor, and this is one Miss Cheryl Mears. Now she competed at the um at the what's that show? At the Tampa Bay, she competed in women's masters, but I don't think she competed in the open part. She won in her class. I think she won at over 50 because I think try to remember. I think today is the lady's birthday who won that the over 40 part. That is today is Tamara McCare's birthday. Shout out to Tamara. Shout out to her.
yep.
All of us here, we know her very well.
Happy
Yeah.
birthday.
Yeah, and,
Okay.
and I remember Tamara. She won for I think it was like 40 plus, and I think I remember Cheryl won for 50 plus, and she is a cancer survivor. And and this is I think this is good for her. Just to get an opportunity to compete at Olympia. Even though it's not the main Olympia, it's still Olympia, and she has I think a decent physique for a woman who is 50 plus and to compete along with other women within her age group, I think it's, might feel more comfortable for her. Like I say, like I said, one thing also you notice she has one of those coloscopy bags, and it can I don't know. Sometimes the judges really because just I think we look around that. I think she also competed at Savannah. She went back to physique um last year after the Tampa. But this woman, she survived. She went through hell and back, and and it's just it was like 2020, like I think about 2019, 2020 when she was diagnosed with cancer, and then she went through went to you know what's the what do you call it? Not it went to remission, And then also she had to go through chemo and stuff like that. And, she lost a good amount of muscle, but it took time for that to build back. She competed in 2021 and competed in 2022. And here she is also with right here with her, Tamara, and also one lady also competed at the Masters. That's Michelle Brent. And Michelle Brent is, like I said, one of the last of the true female bodybuilders. It's not that many women who are true female bodybuilders now. And you can't believe this lady is 65 years old. And look at the muscle development on her. I got to see her when she competed at Savannah last year. To even at her age to have that. I mean, both these ladies, all three ladies are very impressive. Especially for the age and the years. So, and it's just we wish the best for Cheryl. I mean, coming to a show, coming to Romania, surviving cancer. That's really something. I mean, surviving cancer, that is something you gotta give respect for. Now, as I said again, some ladies been talking to me says there's been a lot of ladies who are, former physique competitors jumping over into women's bodybuilding. And it's just there's a lot of like, it feels like some, but good amount of the ladies who are talking to me about this are also themselves former physique competitors. But this one lady, she had competed in almost, I think, 2 or 3 years. She on her IG, she says she's retired, but she seemed to came out of retirement for the show, and that is one Dana Schmidt. She is Israeli. She's the I think she's one of the first Israeli bodybuilders, and first bodybuilder to come out is Israel. She competed the good part, I think, about her last competition was maybe about 2018, 2019. That's been about 3 or 4 years ago. And she's coming out of retirement to compete in excuse me, the Master Show. And and I think with her, because she's a very attractive woman. Can't deny that.
Mm-hmm.
Great muscle definition. She's still a bit on the smaller side when you come to women's bodybuilding because she was competing for a good amount of career as a physique competitor. And she to compete, to be truly a women's bodybuilder, she really has to make the adjustment. She has good conditioning from this picture. This is from this was back in Israel back in 2020. She's trying to stay positive. She has good conditioning, but we also important about being women's bodybuilding is size.
I'm gonna ask a stupid question.
No question is stupid. Just ask it.
Yeah. What when you conditioning, what you mean, like her body, like how, the movement, or
Well, condition is not about movement. Condition is about how your body's shaped, how you have the size. You also how your vascularity looks. You can't be too soft. That's about conditioning. You can't be too soft. You have to have those muscle bellies. You have to have the lines that pop in your shoulders. That's conditioning. Now, right now, she's in look like off season. She still has good muscle development, but conditioning just needs to be just a little bit tighter. You can see in the quads how it's still a little bit not as they don't pop. When she does that quad sweep pose or like that. It's just stuff I've learned from people I talked to, and I've sit in live streams and listened to stuff. But yeah, look at the back. She has good back detail, but it's not as popping. Like especially on the tricep.
Just trying to understand that. Like I wasn't too sure. Like
I said, there's no stupid questions. There's some stupid answers, but there's never no stupid questions because sometimes.
Well, sometimes you can people say obvious questions, so that's why.
Yeah, that's what you're just curious. Like I say, you're still learning about the sport. You've been a fan, but you're still learning about the aspects of it. Me took the time because, like I said, I didn't know much either. But from asking questions and interviews and watching and listening to experts, and
Right.
you learn something. And here's some more pictures of her. She's holding up people, at a gym somewhere, and there's a possibility that, especially with her looks, if she comes in, most definitely she has to come in with a good amount of muscle. It just can't be based on that she's attractive or enough. But look like she has been putting on size. This is like a recent video, but still, if she has
You
enough
think I
muscle,
can ask her for a number?
you can try if you want.
Don't get
I wish you all the
mad.
best of luck, brother. Yeah,
I'm joking, man.
yeah, you said it. You know, but
Yeah, I'm just gotta play joke around. That's all.
yeah, you're not the Joker, so don't try it. But I'm just busting your balls, but yeah, I think how she comes in, she like I said again, the important thing about with bodybuilding is not so much about condition, it's also about the size and presentation you're gonna bring. And like I said, she had competed for almost 3 or 4 years. And this is probably the show that got her out of retirement for whatever reason.
You know what she does, like off season, like what she do outside of bodybuilding.
I don't really follow like that because, like I said, she hadn't competed for almost 3 or 4 years. Other than she's like I think like I said, she lives in Israel, so she probably
Mm.
coaches trains, and it's she hasn't been too much on the radar, especially competition wise. Like a lot of competitors, she's mostly after she's probably coaching and training. Not a lot of stuff is going on. Like I said, she's an Israeli woman. As you know, in Israel, you can serve 2 years in the military. You know, and that's that. You're done. You can stay in another 2 years or a little more, and like how in America, you have to serve at least I think as 4 or 5 years before you say if you want to re-up. As they, this is my niece and nephew. They're both in the military for many years. You start to re-up again. It has to be 4 or 5 years here in the United States.
Yeah.
But in Israel, it's like it's almost mandatory. It's almost like it's part of their decided that you have to be. Almost everybody's in the military unless you get exempt because of some kind of other reason. But other than that, like I said, I don't follow like that because, like I said, some people I follow, some people I don't. I just don't know what she's up to. Now, one lady down here, I felt like she was going to get picked for the most definitely, without any questions, she was going to get picked for the show. That is one Miss Donna Williams Salib. And Donna, like I said, last year she did pretty good. She qualified for her first Olympia, at New York, which is about a year ago. Also, she did the Rising Phoenix. And Donna is a mom. She's a wife. She's a grandmother. She's even a professional wrestler at one point during her career. I mean, we used to talk back and forth, talk a good bit. She's also my man, Sean, or you call him Stewie, over on his on IG. That's his gym mom. She's from Tennessee. She's from Kentucky, and she really put on some size from last year. But she did the Indiana Pro Show, which is gone now, and I hate that they lost that show. And also she did New York, did um Rise of Phoenix, and she took 14th at the Olympia. And I felt like she was going to get a little. I thought she could tie for 16th, but she was able to get 14th.
Yeah. Yeah, and when I was at New York Pro, I successfully predicted it was going to be her before the judging had even stopped halfway through. So that was pretty nice. It's thing that I can say about her is got to come in more shredded in the legs. She's got the belly situation. Don't really know what to do about that. But yeah, she came fourth at Indy Pro, first at New York Pro, and 14th at the Miss Olympia last year. She's also, I believe, one of the few only bodybuilders, female bodybuilders of Egyptian ancestry, because I believe she is from Egypt. I mean, her ancestral wise,
Well,
I believe.
you sure? I know her husband. I think her husband's Egyptian.
No, she is Coptic, if my memory serves correctly.
Oh, I didn't know that. I know her family is from Kentucky. I didn't think they were from. But yeah, it's interesting. Thank you for the information. That's why I call him the hand of the king. He has the knowledge. He gives me and stores me. I mean, I get to learn. But like I said, she's a mom. Also, her son was served in the military. He was in the army. And I said, as a citizen to him, I said, we as citizens appreciate the sacrifice she made for this country. And she really, I got, and you know what? Like I said, Like you talk about New York, I got to meet her at Savannah last year. It was like I was like you know, taking pictures at the show. She's coming off to the side. She stick her tongue out, and I say hello, give her a big hug. I took a picture with her and another person named we just speak on my channel, and it was great to see her. I mean, she's just generally a great lady. We got here. We have somebody's come through here. It's our man Roy came through here saying, "Hi, George. What are you guys talking about?" Well, we're talking about Roy. If you hadn't seen the thing, we're talking about the ladies who've been picked for the 2023 Masters Olympia, and we're going to talk about good part most about women's bodybuilding. We're going to give it also physique, and also might drop some names for figure because like I said, I'm trying to do some more stuff on figure because I see that division as a transition division for women who get into bodybuilding.
Mm.
So we want to wish best luck for Donna. I think she probably could take it. Now another lady's on here. She's also a woman who is like she's a mother like Donna. Good amount of these ladies on here are moms. You're surprised. There's a lot of people don't think about a lot of these ladies. There's a lot of women spread bodybuilding now who are mothers, who have children, who sometimes got in sport after the kids grew up. And this is one Miss Evangeline Guzman. She's originally from Mexico, and she got a pro card, I think, about
I
2
think I
years
know
ago.
it. My fault.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What? Go ahead.
Nah, I said I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. That's all you got to speak up, son. You're talking. But she's been competing for a good while. I think she only did a couple of pro shows, I think in 2021, 2022. And she's from Mexico originally. And she has a great look. She's very she's very caliente, how they say it. And I'm surprised one lady who didn't put the show who's from Mexico I know that's Gabby Vega. I think she could have applied for it, but I think she probably applied for it, but she probably got turned down. And she is I think she's in her late 50s, early 60s. And you wouldn't think if you look at it. I mean, this is the thing about the bodybuilding lifestyle. Some of these ladies don't look as old as you think they do. I mean,
She's a mother.
yeah, she's a mother. She has a daughter. Because I
Okay.
did last year. I did every month, when Mother's Days come around, I do my comparison videos where I dedicated to the mothers with muscles. I call it. I usually call them moms with muscle. This is what I'm gonna call it. This year's I'm gonna call it muscle mommies, where I dedicate. Yeah, I'm gonna dedicate a lot to the ladies in bodybuilding who are moms, who have kids. And because as the last 2 years, you hadn't that wasn't that many female
Yeah.
bodybuilders who had kids. Other than back in the day, Van Dennis, Krista Bott, Yaxenia King, Michelle Brent, which was Michelle Ivers, and
I like when she was Michelle Brent.
well,
Michelle
most
Ivers.
Ivers, yeah.
I like when
But
she-
her husband, he's a wild dude. He promotes her jewelry and stuff. Yeah, I like his commercial. I remember when I tried to interview with him. But she can't believe this woman in her close to her 60s, and and she still has a good amount of muscle. How she's gonna place is all depending on how she's gonna look. I think this might be her either a second or third pro show. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I started seeing her on Facebook years ago. I
Uh-huh.
know. I don't know how long she been competing on bodybuilding.
I think she's been competing since I would say early 2000s, maybe about the late
Yeah,
90s. She
yeah. I've
might have
seen her.
like. Hmm.
No, I was just saying. I've seen her for years now.
Yeah, she's like, we can look at her. So like, how do you get a senior look great? And she knows she's a 60. I mean, you wouldn't think this woman is close to 60. You would think she's maybe, I would say, mid to early 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I think this right here. This is her. This is her daughter. And and
Well, it's not too bad either.
yeah, her daughter's a cute girl. I mean, you know what you want to say? Check it, the mother or she's the daughter. I mean, try to have both. uh, yeah, the young ones they're fun to have fun with, but you like the older women because they know how to cook for you. And she's a Mexican woman too, so she's a proud woman. So but she looks impressive. It's about how well she's going to place and how her condition is going to be. That's the big part of it. Everybody looks good before the show, but that's one thing.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's
yeah,
bonito.
yeah. We got here. Roy is saying, "I wish Iris Cow did the Masters." Well, I think Iris probably might think about it next year. She wanted to compete back in 2020, but she got sick. Before the show, and she wanted to compete way back, but there was a lot of stuff going on. I mean, I feel like this. I'm not overall big Iris Cow fan. I do like Iris Cow, but they should let her compete at the Rising Phoenix when she wanted to compete back in 2016. Instead of using excuse saying, "Hey, you need to compete in another show," but then they let Amelia Popa, who compete for almost 2 years, compete at the Rising. But hey, you can't let the former 10-time Miss Olympia compete. I mean, that's just double standards and shit. Also, he's saying Irene's still rocking at this age. She's probably the oldest. Not the oldest.
No,
No, no, no. Now Irene's just about 58, 59. And I got to meet Irene. Yeah, I like to put that in there. Everybody knows I got to meet her. I'm surprised she didn't apply for this show. I know one thing is, like, she was at Savannah, she should have competed in the Masters show. Not like some ladies competed both in the Masters and at the Open. Some women just did Masters, and some did both the Masters and the Open show. She could have competed at the Masters and won that show because the lady who won it, I forgot her name. I think this was her pro debut at Savannah show. She did both Masters and Open, and I think she won that show, and I think she was like number 10 or 12, 8 or something at the Savannah. I forgot. So, you know. But also he says this: do you guys think Prime Iris could have beaten? Uh, um, he said Andrea Shaw. Yes, because he said Iris. He said Iris again. And he said he correctly saying sorry, Andrea Shaw. Hmm.
yes.
You think that Iris could beat? You
He
think?
said very specifically at prime.
Yeah, her prime. Yeah, I believe so. I believe so. Like I
Mm.
said, back in 2015, women started to really evolve after that. You really look at it. But yeah, possibly could Prime, Linda Murray beat Andrea Shaw. Andrea Shaw.
I would think so.
I think her best prime was in 2020, in 2002. She really came in, and she really looked good in 2002. She really put on the size and condition for those last those last three shows. Before I think she could probably but let's get back to the other ladies on the list because there's a lot of bodies on here. One lady who I saw was on made this list. I said, "Wow, we hadn't seen her since her last competition was at Romania. That was last year." And I follow on social media. I even told her like she should have did was another show before that one, because there was the Europa show, and they said that she came a little off in conditioning. But like I said, I've always been a fan of hers, and that is Jay Fuchs. And Jay is just,
Oh,
hmm?
nah, I know who you're talking about, Jay Fuchs. Yeah.
Yeah, Jay Fuchs is from Switzerland. She's an actress. She's also a former Muay Thai fighter. She fought a fighter that I know from UFC. That's Jermaine
She was
Duran.
in a movie or something.
She did
Like
some
I
movies
know.
here. She did some movies over there.
Oh, okay.
It's even her and Julia Furrier in a movie together. They
Oh,
played
okay.
convicts in a prison.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and and Jay has really put on to the side because she didn't compete since I think 2018. And that was almost 5 years ago. She came back in 2022. I remember she was competing at Chicago. I even talked about where I got really pissed how this chick named Julia Blondin, who was just a former physique competitor, who won because she had bigger calves than most of the ladies on the stage, and that's really I feel like she won because she was a physique competitor who just switched over to bodybuilding in 2018. She got a qualification for the Rising Phoenix. And I know she's a friend of a lady who I follow, who I did an interview right back, but I felt like I even commented here, she didn't, I posted a comment on it, how it's unfair that, hey, how this chick, and she didn't like it. And, I was in my feelings and being a fan, a Jay Foods fan. Jay took third that show because, and I was like, I thought Jay at least won. I would say that her physique was always kind of blocky. She did qualified for the Rising Phoenix that year. I think she won the Norfolk Pro. But Jay has been in the game for a long time. You know, she's really getting massive, and you can't
Yeah.
believe she's like 55 years old.
Mm.
I mean,
I
55.
was looking at her thighs, like it's huge. Like wow.
Yeah, she's really put on some mass over the years. I mean, it's a good size. So, I like when she had darker hair. I like her darker hair more than the
Keep it
blonde
on
skin.
so I can get the tissue, man.
So I don't use tissue. I use washcloths. Yeah, you can wash them. You don't wash tissue. You don't waste tissue. You waste tissue that way. You use it to wipe your butt. But Jay. I mean, this might be a show to get her first Olympic qualification. I mean, great muscle density. I mean, if she come in just the right condition, her condition was as on point as it was when she did the Romanian show. That's why this is advice I give to somebody, especially somebody who's been hadn't competed for almost 4 years before then. She should have, excuse me, she should have did was just did the Europa show, see how and test that show, see how she does, and then she get the critiques from the judges, and then make the adjustments for the Romanian show. She would have placed better. That was the advice I would give any competitor. But as you know, she was, like I said before, a Muay Thai fighter. She even boxed for a minute. I mean,
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
I mean, great physique.
How
She's,
big is her arms, man? Like
I
it's
don't know.
huge.
I don't follow measurements like that. You gotta ask her. This is here with the
I haven't
actor.
talked to her. I don't know. I don't know
That's
how
here
to
with
reach.
yeah. That's here with the late actor Julian Sands. 'Cause I think somebody say he passed away, he disappeared or something. You know,
Julia who?
Julian
Julian
Sands,
Julian Stans. What movie he was in?
the Warlock movie series, and also
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that's right. That's him. Oh
yeah,
wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because he said he went hiking
Yeah.
somewhere and he disappeared, and I think they still haven't found his
Yeah.
body or anything. I didn't hear anything new. This has been like since the end of last year when this happened. But yeah, she
Wow.
worked with him, and
Long time
and
ago, man.
but she's always like I said. I'm just a fan of Jay Fuchs. I think she has an amazing body. I mean, especially for a woman almost 60, just almost
Just to
60.
clarify, Julian Sands has not been confirmed dead. He's just gone missing since January.
Well,
So
you might
that's
you
what
might
that.
say you might say he's confirmed dead because if you haven't found his body by now, he's you know because
Yeah,
it's since January and it's already the 1st of May. There's no point. If he happens somewhere, he falls down some crevice, something, they'll probably find his body 10 years from now. So you might as well
Mm.
say, yeah. I know. Sometimes this happens when some people disappear, and you may not see them. They might pop up, but some cases, this is my say. I would say this. Even though he's not a high profile celebrity, he's still, who. I mean,
Yeah, I
why would you?
remember him in those Warlock movies.
hmm And also, he was in that movie Arachnophobia. He was a scientist.
Oh, okay, yeah, I remember. That was a long. Woo, that was like what 90? That
Yeah,
movie came out. Yeah, I
yeah,
seen
because
that in the theaters. I seen
yeah, because
that.
remember, John Goodman was in that movie too. He was the exterminator.
Okay.
Remember,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
was. Yeah, he
right.
was.
Yeah,
He was in the end. He was like shooting at all the spiders with the spray. He came out. He was like fully
yeah,
loaded.
yeah.
Also, we had a lady out here too. This weekend was her birthday, and we want to wish her happy belated birthday. This is one Miss Leah Diddy, and I follow Leah Diddy. I made a little video for her. She thanked me for it. And Leah is, she's been competing for a good while. She's also herself is a mother. She's a mother of 3 kids. She has a son,
Mm,
older son, a daughter, and another son. He's an autistic child. And I love to get out for interview and talk about that because I know I had a nephew who took care of him. He was autistic. Me and my mother. And Leah, she won her first Olympic qualification back in 2020. That was the year when everybody was returning. Then she competed a few more shows in 2021. And then 2022, she did only show she did was the Atlanta show and the Rising Phoenix. Now I remember I was talking to her, said she wanted to do more shows, but her daughter's graduating. She wants to spend more time with her son who's autistic. So and we felt like she took I think she took third at the Atlanta show, and she was top 5 at the Rising Phoenix. If she just did a couple more shows, she probably would got more points, and maybe when she had the point systems and qualified for the Olympia. And Leah is, like I said, an amazing woman. I mean, just can you believe she's in her 50s, and you wouldn't think it. You were thinking, I could say, wow, this is somebody's mom. She's also a friend lady who I interviewed a while back, Tony Mercury. She lives in Texas, and Texas is a growing mecca for bodybuilding the last few years. They're not doing no shows for women's bodybuilding. It's some physique shows, and mostly a lot of bikini and other divisions, and the men's bodybuilding shows. But this woman is just like, wow. I mean, look at this. She has that great, MILF look. This hot mom look. I mean, and she's a businesswoman too. She works in business, and that's a good thing. That a lot of ladies who don't have those real stable jobs where she can afford to, if she gets sick, they take care of her. She has the health insurance and all that stuff like that. That's what a lot of competitors can use. And like I said, Leah looks amazing. I mean, she's like I said again, this woman is in her 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's probably the best shot, I think, of winning the Masters of any of the competitors on there, just based off her record of where she's ranked historically. I also met her and talked with her myself. I definitely think of all the competitors there, she's going to win the Masters.
Yeah, she just the weekend, because her birthday weekend, she went to Sedona, I think in Arizona. She did a little walkabout. Here's a little bit. So she's in the work of
Flagstaff, but I don't know if you can hear that, but very peaceful. So great way to end my wonderful trip to Sedona.
Yeah, she has the glasses on. She got
Even though I can hear the cars go by.
She has that hot teacher look for her. And she has done pretty good. I mean, back in when she competed at the Arizona 2021.
And I said I like her in that blue dress.
The blue dress. Oh, popping the blue dress for you. Yeah. This is from a man KALA. Yeah, the blue dress. Yeah. She got it nice. And she did pretty good back in 2021 at the Rising Phoenix, where she was top 5. She beat out somebody like Ashley Hadley. Ashley Hadley took 6. And Ashley Hadley, she has a great physique. She and she took, and didn't this last year at the Rising Phoenix, she took 4th, meaning she pushed out someone like Mona Persilay. She's beating girls 10, 15 years, 20 years younger than her. She won the New York.
But you wasn't that happy with that. You wanted the other chick to win, Mona Persilay. I think you wanted
Mona was going to win because
Andrew, but you wanted her to be in the higher place than Lena. That's what I meant.
No, I wasn't mad. I was like surprised.
Oh.
Yeah, because like I say, I know, like I say, Mona Persilay, she's a great physique, great poser. I was certain that Mona was going to either get 3rd or 4th. I felt like she would get on the spot, but then when she got 5th, I said, what? I mean, no offense to Leah, we had the great physique, but I was certain. I felt like, I think Mona was just off. And I think with Mona also, I know some people know who say that she was trying to bank that show, she knew she's not going to be Andrea, but she thought she'd get enough points where she's boom, she has enough points, she takes the lead for the point system. But then, she came up a little short. I feel like she should have did one more show because she should have done the Romania, and that would have qualified because the other chick who won that Romania, she won the show the Europa before that, and she should have just went ahead. You know what? I'm still in good. I'm still in good condition, and I might well just go out and see how I do at Romania. If I don't win it, I get the points where I'm in the point system where I don't have to worry about getting pushed out because she was 3rd because Renee would not speak took 1st, Michelle Jen was 2nd. And Mona was 3rd. And if I was Mona, knowing that you're that close to baby, if somebody, and like I said, if Sherry Priami had did the Europa show, because with Sherry, her daughter got sick and she couldn't do the show, And if Sherry Piami had done that show, either the Spain show, if she win it, but just get enough points, Mona would have been out. And she would have missed out. I think Mona should have really considered doing the Romanian show, or the because she couldn't do the Europa show because the Europa show was the same week as the um, Rising Phoenix. But she should have had you know took a chance to see how she would have done at at Europa.
Oh
Now,
yeah, congratulations on your interview with Sherry Priami.
yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. It is. I think that it's almost. I think it's gonna beat my
You know what?
interview. What?
Go ahead. Nah, I was saying, I tell you the truth, I don't the things the way you was asking questions and interacting, I don't know if I would have pulled it off. Tell you the truth, like
Like,
that's not easy. Like trying to like interact and just come up with questions and stuff. Because even like the interview I had recently, I was a little stuck, but I just kept going and stuff. So
well,
that's all I got to say.
well, like I said, it takes a lot of work. You have to always like with me. I don't really have anything really planned out when I have these conversations with these ladies. I just
Right,
sometimes I just do things off the cuff, and then sometimes I have things in my head. I rehearse it, and I say, okay, what questions I want to ask them, and I also want to be at the same time I want to be respectful, and then
right,
also I want to be fun. Like one part is like I said, her boyfriend, knowing that he's a bodybuilder too, I brought him in
right,
because the fact is, you know, again, I want to expand my channel. I just don't want to be just the guy who just talk about mostly about the women. Also, I want to give opportunities for other competitors, like you know, like her boyfriend Chris, who's planning on competing in a few, I think in about a week or so, about a month or so, and had hear their stories and share their paths and their interests. Now,
right.
one lady I become really cool with, and I was hoping to have her come on here and talk with us, but she's busy. That is Miss Lori A. Conley. Now, Lori, she turned pro last year at the Teen Collegiate Masters, and that's in Pittsburgh. That's a Gary Udis show, and that's where she turned pro. And Lori's been competing for quite some time. She was an athlete for a good while, and then she got into bodybuilding eventually. And Lori is she's also in her mid 50s, and you would think if you see her, she's impressive physique. I mean, good condition. This is good. Also, is going to be her pro debut. I don't know. I wouldn't do this show as to her. I like Lori, but I wouldn't do this show as my pro debut. But like I said, with California, because she lives in Cali, there's not a lot of shows for these ladies. Some of these ladies have to go clear across the country. I mean, like Andrea, she competed at the Vancouver show because it's a lot closer for her. She's doing New
Mm,
York it's about the middle of the month, but she did Vancouver because it was close to her because there's not a lot of shows for women's bodybuilding other than there's the Rise Phoenix in Arizona, but like I said again, that show is by invitation. But that's why I say it shouldn't be an invitation show anymore. It should be a show where they bring in any competitor who want to compete. People who already qualified for the Olympia step aside. Don't put your name in. I know it's a great show to get some money because you get all the prize money stuff like that. And you could probably get a car and $50,000. But still, to me, it's taking away opportunities for competitors who probably want to qualify, especially after Miss Olympia Warfare. That's why they kicked out Miss International because Iris Kyle was competing and beating all the other girls, and people got tired of Iris. But Lori's a great lady. I mean, how she's gonna place, it all depends how she's gonna look. Like I said, it's gonna be more or less more the women who are more of the big stars who have put their time in and put in the work in. I mean, but like I said, I like Lori. We talked on the phone every now and then. She still has some work done, but I think she should have. Like I think she didn't want to sit and like a lot of other ladies who did get their pro cards, take a year or so off. She wanted to hit the ground running. But I think this wouldn't be a show I would want to do. I would say let me get another show under my belt, and I hope she does that. I hope she does get another show under her belt, and then she just do the show. Then she do the money show. But like I said, it's about put your time in and put your work in. Mm. Hello, am I alone?
Yep. Yep.
No,
Oh, no, you're here. I just don't really have.
Yeah, you don't have much to say. I understand. I understand. Now, the lady I can't find her social media stuff on here is Marcela Vegas. I think I believe she was the lady that competed uh at the uh at the Vancouver show.
did that with your mouth.
What?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
that no.
it's something I've learned because hey, I had a lot of nieces and nephews, and sometimes we have to play with them and make little noises like you know, babies like that.
You could beatbox.
No, no, I don't. No, I don't have that skill set. But she's a lady that's I think she's from Chile, and she competed at the Vancouver show. Let me see if I can find something on her. I think I can pull it out the Vancouver show somewhere. And she was the one I remember. She was at the very back of the at the final pose down, and I don't know why she had competed for. I think she was the first show since 2019, and you know she should have really. I don't know. Come on. I know this is your first show almost in 3 or 4 years, and and you're sitting in the back. I was trying to find a picture of her somewhere. Uh, I'm on the Vancouver Island show. They don't have no pictures or videos from the. I know somebody has it, but like I said, we'll move on from her because, like I said, I don't think she's going to be a non-factor. Another lady on here, Maria Sangora, I believe. I believe she competed back in, I would say, the uh good part of the 90s and 2000s, and she's also, I think she's a mother. She has a kid. I think I saw it somewhere, and this is gonna be her first show, and I think almost in maybe 10 years or so, because I think she competed in the I know she competed a good part of the 90s and the 2000s. You know, she's got a private account, so so I moved on for that. I got no pictures to show, so. But one lady here on the list is the lady that she deserves it. She should be in. She should have been at the Rising Phoenix last year. I don't know why I didn't give her invitation to Rising Phoenix because she was planning on retiring that year. She did at least 4 or 5 shows. She did Tampa. I think she did Chicago. I know she did the Masters, the World Master show. She did Savannah, and she did another show after that. And that is one Miss Michelle Ivers Brent. And she is what we call the last, really, truly, other than Hel Trevino and a couple others. Yeah, I can't think of the top of my head. She's one of the last true female bodybuilders. And, she started a good part of the 80s where there was only women's bodybuilding. There was no other divisions until you have fitness later in the early 90s. And she's one of the last, at 65. And she's a businesswoman, and she's also a mother and a wife. And to still compete at this level, she even she'll like I know a couple of shows she did both opens and masters. And I know I try to remember, I think Savannah she just did masters. But I know she did both opens and masters at Chicago, I believe at Tampa. And I think Savannah she did his masters, if I can remember. But
You ever reached out to her?
yeah, I reached out, before. Yeah,
Oh,
she's a busy lady because she's a coach, a trainer.
yeah.
She's her and her husband they had their own business.
Mm.
I hope maybe when things settle down, I can get on and do an interview. I know David over Female Body Forum interviewed with her a while back, and
Yeah.
she came. This woman, like I said, is 65 years old.
Yeah.
She's to be 66 this year, and and still has a good amount of muscle. I mean, she's keeps in shape. Like I know she said, I know back in 2020, before my dear friend Miss Rondalee Charisma passed away. She was working with her because she was competing in Chicago. She did Tampa that year. I think which was first? Tampa was first because that year, remember, 2020, they moved the Chicago Pro to Atlanta because the Illinois they shut down because they wouldn't do any big venues, any shows like that because of the pandemic. So they moved it to Georgia to Atlanta because Atlanta or Florida, those states were they wouldn't follow the criteria of the when it was coming to virus, just but still. But she worked with her conditioner for that show, and she looked much more improved from Tampa because that Tampa was only 7 women that show. I remember that show. I know a different team wins compete the show. She wished she got qualified for the Olympics after that show. But Michelle, you know, competed as long as she has. Still, even still having the passion. Like I said, dedicated, determined, digging deep.
Yeah. She is, I believe, the oldest professional female bodybuilder still compete. What was that? She's the oldest professional female bodybuilder still competing at the age of 65. Uh, um, um, and she competed older than what do you call it, Betty Parizo, and Betty was well into her 50s when she was competing.
Yeah.
So and she's like what 65 now.
Yeah. Because Betty, remember Betty? She was. I remember it said Betty told Betty because she was places. Well, she had to do some changes. That's when Betty was doing the crab pose a lot, and that really improves her placing at shows.
Yeah.
She was getting the top five, top three contendership. And Betty was a big woman, being that she was tall too, and she big, and also Betty's a mom also. She has a husband and she has like 2 kids. She's a grandma, and I think Michelle said she has a son, but I don't think she has grandkids yet. He's still a young man. I think he also served the military. So, like I said, as a citizen, I said to him, "We appreciate the sacrifices you made for this country." So that's it.
She's competed in. This will be her 59th show she's competed in.
That's a lot of people.
59 shows that I have records on. I went through all of them.
Mm-hmm.
She was competing as Michelle Ivers Brent. She was competing as Michelle Brent. When she was competing in the pro shows, she's been competing in pro shows since 2012. This will be her 59th show.
Maybe she might do another show because, like I said, this is just this show is not to August.
Yeah.
And she might do maybe there's they still have the Gary Units World Master Show, so that's a possibility she might be doing that show.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
That's usually one.
And then
and I also saw her at New York as well.
Yeah, and I was there when she competed at the at Savannah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But another lady who I actually got to meet in person, I got to hug her too, and that is Rashana Boswell. I mean, Rashana. When I saw her on the list, I said, Rashana. I mean, she can't be that old. I thought she was like closer to, but I think she says she is. Excuse me. I think she is. A little dry voice. Give me a second. Let me drink your water and talk her. Yeah, but I know. I think she said she is 40. I believe she's like 41, 42. If I
She'd
think
have
of
to
it.
be older than that because the limit is 45 to compete at this.
Is it 40? Because I thought they changed it for women's bodybuilding. They said it was going to be 45, but I think they changed it to 40 plus because it means that you have to be 40 and over. Because other divisions, everybody else is 40. Because they said, I think one thing was because they wanted to open because they said at one point they were going to say 45 because the problem was it wasn't enough. It put it at 45. It wouldn't have enough wellness girls at 45.
I look it up on the site, and on the official IFBB Pro site, and it says 45.
Well, I said, well, it looked like I said
I mean,
when I
unless
saw.
it's like literally from the official site. So
Yeah.
this is from the
Well, I
news.
thought they changed it because I know one person said 40 plus. So I thought the guy one was at 40 and then 40 up because because it wouldn't. One problem was
Yeah, I'm just showing you what it says on the rule list.
yeah.
And
I understand. I
this is
understand.
the official site, and so she would have to be like at least 45.
Dang, I didn't think she's that old. She look. I mean, I got. I was I saw the woman did an interview with her because I interviewed before a long time ago, about a couple of years back, and we did an interview right there at the spot at the seminar, and I didn't think she was that. I didn't think she. I felt like maybe. I said again, I thought she was maybe in her late to mid 30s. You know, but I thought, like I said, I thought she. I didn't think she was. But like I said, it's just that's the thing about this. It's the wonders of it. But I thought one point I thought the age limit was. I think one thing was, oh yeah, I see it now. Thank you for sharing, brother. It was 45 or older, and I thought it was like 40 and over. So because I thought one point they were saying because they feel like they couldn't get enough competitors, especially I think with men's bodybuilding and women's bodybuilding is 45. Is 45, and I said, dang. Now I thought they changed that.
You have to understand there's a lot more competitors in it that have been competing for a lot longer years. That
Hmm.
might be why they've done it for men's and women's bodybuilding in 212. The rest of the sports are a bit younger, so you're going to have a little bit of a more lenient when it comes to that.
Hmm. Well, so I know one woman. She said she wanted to compete, but she turned 45 after the show, and she couldn't. I felt certain. I thought they changed it, but thank you for dropping that information for me. I just went by what I saw or what I heard. But like I said, with Shauna, you know, like I said again, I ain't think this woman's 45 years old. I'm honestly didn't think. I would thought she would maybe touch at 40 or at 40. But I didn't think it. I mean, she has a great physique. Like I said, I got the opportunity to meet her she came down here to North Carolina last year. It was like the weekend of the 4th of July. She did a seminar with for Glenn of this seminar and photo session for the Amazon Fitness magazine. She did too well at Rising Phoenix, and I'm surprised that she bottomed out at the Olympia. I mean, it's just like I said. One thing was I remember back in 2020 when she competed at the Chicago. It was the contendership for the Olympia was between her and Teresa Bosick. As she said, the big problem was they told her because of her back. Also, thinking she does have a lot of tattoos. She got mostly good on her arm, right here on her side, around her abdominal area. I mean, I think it's a great physique.
I
You
do
know,
like her quads and you know,
hmm
big her thighs.
Yeah, she really put on some little more conditioning since. But I feel like this is pictures from when she was at I believe this is before the Olympia, and I felt certain that she was going to. I will say like this: I felt top 10, top 15 for the Olympia, but not bottom 16. I mean, that surprised me because the comparison video of her and Asha Hadley, and I sent her this. He said, I looked at Asha, and Asha looked a little soft. And I know Asher was in the top 10 at the show. And I say, how, and she agreed with me, said, like, she's surprised how that she could bottom out. And Asher looked a little like she was off. I don't know. This is just me being a fanboy and just because I'm a fan of Shauna. I feel like she should have placed a little higher. I think if anything, and so again, I felt like, Don Celie should have been in the, like, next to the, like, time for 16th and she should have reached 14th or 13th, if not 12th. But I'm not a judge, and they see something and they make their critiques, and and they say that place. I think her back look a lot better this last year than it was the year before.
Yeah, Yeah, and I think she might have the possibility of getting into like the top five. Um, yeah, the people I see in the top five: Jake Fuchs, Leah Denny, Shauna Boswell, uh, maybe Donna Salib if she
Maybe.
really cracks it, but that's a big stretch if she comes in like at New York.
Hmm. Well, we got at least four more women left on this list, and we're gonna mention these women. And one lady who I remember used to follow on my old IG before somebody hacked me. I got hacked, and she's from Italy, and she's competing for a good while. I remember since the good part of the early 2000s. She's also herself. She's also a mom. I think Michelle is a mom. She's a mom because her wife Kay, they have children do a vitro. Two lovely babies. Lotus and Lucas. Great kids. I remember when I was down when I went to when she came for the seminar. I bought a little care package, and and she couldn't take all of it on the plane, so Glenn sent the rest of it to her. But when she took the toothbrushes for both of them, he said Lucas keeps using that toothbrush. He loves that toothbrush, and I'm glad he likes that toothbrush because I love to do something for somebody who needs stuff. But anyway, another lady on this list who is possibly it's all depending on how, because it's been a long time since she competed, and that is one Miss Sava Almate. She's from Italy. Now she had competed since the 2020, I think 2020 Olympia, and that's been about it was 2020 or 2021. I'm trying to remember. It's been, I mean, one point she competed for a good bit, but she decided to take a step back. I remember she said she was going to retire, but this is a show that got her retired. Also about her, this woman is an archaeologist, meaning she finds discovers bones, and I know she got to be touching her mid 50s, early 50s. I think I saw a picture of her at Toronto because she was working the booth there for the Toronto Pro, and it's surprising this woman, she's coming out of retirement to do the show. I think there's a lot of ladies that I've seen coming out of retirement. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's she's definitely also somebody I would say would probably get into the top 10. I mean the top five spot. Um, Simply because she's been at the Olympia, um, like the other competitors, and like she's been in that top echelon basically.
Yeah. Because she's been to Olympia at least. I remember when it was return of women's bodybuilding, and also so again, she's a mother like this. I mean, good half these women on this list are moms. They have children, and she hadn't competed since 2020, and if, what's it, 2020? Yeah, she 2020, 2021. And she said she was going to retire, but she popped out. She's friends with another female bodybuilder from Italy. It's Barbara Carici, and yeah, she looks pretty good. I mean, to come out of retirement and compete. I mean, she put her application. I think one people feel like the big thing is I think this is her daughter. I believe it's her daughter. Oh, wow. I remember. She said she's a great dancer. She very talented. No, that's somebody else. This is her daughter right here. Yeah, that's her daughter. Yeah, yeah. I recognize the face. That must be somebody else's picture, or maybe an old picture of her when she was younger. But yeah, she's a mom, and she aspires her daughter. I mean, and it's good to see someone like herself coming out of retirement and to come and compete just for one more time. I don't know if she's going to do any more shows after that, or as you know, there's only a couple of shows overseas, like there's some, there's the Portugal Pro. There's the Europa Show. Those two are for qualification for this year, and there's the remaining Muscle Fest for qualification for next year.
Next year.
Yeah, I don't know why they pushed the Olympic back to November. I mean, you move the Olympic back to Florida. It doesn't get cold. Rarely gets that cold. I remember we used to go. You know, I remember when last time I went to Florida. Was it in the summertime? When we went, I think we went the time at the end of summer where the rates go down a little bit for traveling because a lot of people don't want to travel too much in that time of year. I'm trying to remember. It's been a long time, but
Florida doesn't get cold, period.
yeah. One thing you worry about is maybe a hurricane.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah. You'll
yeah,
deal with
yeah,
hurricanes. You'll deal with
yeah. That's the one thing you
crocodiles.
worry about.
You'll deal with the fact that the ocean is slowly sucking the entire state into the ocean, but all that good stuff.
Yeah, plus they got
More
a crazy.
buildings collapses.
Yeah, plus they got a dumbass for a governor, so that's one factor too. But Salva, she looks good for a woman her age, and coming back and coming out of retirement, and possibly seeing how she's gonna play to this show. Um, the lady that's on this list, and she is, uh, I would say, a dark horse. And I just saw her do an interview over with David at Female Body Forum, and this lady, I told her, "Hey, what you do interview with another man? What you do interview with me? You supposed to be my girl." And she said, "You should be jealous." Now, I'm not jealous, but I just, I'm glad she's doing this, And I've been telling her that you need to do more interviews, and she said she was nervous, but I watched. She has a little bit nervous, but she looked all right. She be proud of herself. She put in some time work for it, and represent herself at the show, and that is Miss Tana Huey. I'm not gonna say her full name because it's hard to say, but Tana looked great. I mean, she looked amazing. I mean, she took fifth place. You know, I like I say, if she could fix a few things here and there, she possibly could maybe took fourth or maybe third. It's just like I said, one thing she's a little bit on the shorter side. Also, like a lot of like her and a couple of ladies that were just showed their moms, her, Shay Machada, Melina Perron, and also I believe that lady who's standing in the back, and also Sherry, their moms. And sometimes as a mother, you're gonna have those issues because if you had kids, you're not ever gonna get that same stomach you had tight and firm like you was when you're in your 20s. But she
unless
did
you unless you engage in in vitro fertilization, but I do.
well. It doesn't matter if you get pregnant, before fertilization, you're still gonna have to carry the baby.
Oh, you still got to carry it
Yeah, you
for
gotta carry.
that.
It's not like test tube baby. They call it test tube baby, but technically you still have to carry it. It's not like like there was a movie, it was a TV show called. It was based on the future, and it was attacked by aliens. There was a group of people they called them nipple necks because they had nipples back of the head because they were created through in vitro fertilization. They came out fully grown. It was space above beyond. I used to love to watch it. I used to come on Sundays. They moved to Fridays. And I had to work on Fridays. So now I work on Sundays, but then sometimes I have Sunday off. It was a great show to watch. It was very sci-fi. So, but she looked amazing at this show. I mean, her back looked great. Maybe some. I just saw they just did a critique of her on the Female Body channel. Most definitely her glutes need to be worked on a little bit, but she looked pretty good. The part with her midsection, that's always gonna be a problem because she was a bit overweight in the past. You can never really, like especially like the other lady, Melina, who also she was also a bit overweight, but she looked great. I mean, she hadn't competed since 2020, and she was planning on competing in 22. She hadn't competed since 2021. She was planning on competing last year, but as I said again, the cost of competing and traveling, it's a lot of money, and she looked great. I mean, she's really has made those adjustments. This is like a picture here, of like, this is maybe early the year or by the end of the year. Then you can really see how much you really see the difference in her, like in the quads. Look at her biceps; she's getting that little split. I mean, her lats. She always has great lats. She has a great back. Proud Jamaican woman. Like I tell her, hey, she's one who often tells me stuff that I don't really know. She's one of the women who've been educating me in my process. But yeah, the big problem is like around her midsection is you see the the scars from childbirth, and it does has a droop to it where she can't really get those great abdominals, you know and it's but like I said, she's been coming in hard. I mean, you know she could be, like I said, a dark horse. Too bad. This is what I said. I hate the fact that he got rid of point systems. Because if she, like I think about it, taking forth that show will get us some points. If she does another show, I think she says she's gonna go back to Toronto because she ended Toronto since 2021, and she says she's gonna go back to Toronto. I told her she should have did it last year, because she still had points from the 2021 show, and if she could have, if she had enough time, she would have done that show in Vancouver with Eva Montgomery. But they could have got her the points. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. I think definitely she could probably hit a top 10.
yeah. But like I said, she's a great lady. A lot of respect to her. I hope, like I said, I hope she does, do good. If she can crack top 10, top 5, oh hell, even top 3, that'd be great for her. And I can only wish all the best on this upcoming season. And like I said, she's going to do Toronto. She says she wants to do some shows in the States. She's been to the Rise of Phoenix before. That was back in 2018. She said she would love to do more shows in the States. Like I said, the cost of traveling here and back. I mean, this is what I said. I would love if I had deep pockets like that, where I say, what? I will say I will sponsor you. I'll pay for your plane ticket. I'll pay for your place to stay. You can pick the show you want to pick. I got you. I would love to do that. But like I said, poor broke dope. I won't get my check till tomorrow. Even though it's the first of the month, I won't get my check till the first of the till tomorrow. Now, one lady, I think she had competed since she competed last at the Roper show. This is Vera Medakova, I believe. I believe she's from Czech Republic. And there's been controversy about her, saying that she might be a bit, too much on the juice. She's a coach or trainer. She, I don't know how she.
I don't know much about her. Like, photos.
Well, I know she competed back in Toronto back in 2019, and I think she qualified. I think she took second or third at that show when she qualified for the Rising Phoenix. She also competed at the Portugal show back in 2020. I think 2022. Also, I think she did 2021. She this is I think this is the woman that a lot of people talking about, how they feel like is kind of why women's bodybuilding is getting a lot of like the debate about bringing in more femininity and all the other stuff. She's kind of like she's really buff for a female. And she's a coach and a trainer. She's been competing for a good while. I think, like I said before, she hadn't competed since I think 2019. She didn't compete for a good while, but she made a return 2022 where she competed at the Portugal Pro. That's the last time she competed. But she has, like I said, she has good muscle definition. I think this is her and another guy who's also I think he's men's open or men's 212 competing at the Master Show. Don't know his name, so But
I don't see anything wrong with her, honestly. But I can say.
Well, you know how it is. It's just always the talk of talk of the town. Like this picture here is one example where it might be, she's the hairline. If you didn't see her breast implants under her jersey, you just see her face and her hairline. You think it's a dude.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can say that about any woman in the sport if you see them without makeup, but that's not what we're seeing on stage.
That's not what we're seeing on stage. I know that it's different on stage than compared to when you are, when you're live in a person. But like I said, she has a good amount of muscle development. She's put on some size in the last few years. How she's gonna place, I don't know. The judges are kind of picky.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, the judges kind of picky. Now, the last person we're gonna talk about, And this woman, she's one of my favorites. She's one of my all-time favorites. I'm a big fan of hers. She just has an amazing physique. She has been in the sport for a long time. She, as you know, she turned pro about 2013, the same year where there was pushing out women's bodybuilding from out of the Europeans because the NPCs they just kind of disconnect from Europe for a good while. So for a good while, she and Lisa Cross were the last two women from Europe to qualify for women's bodybuilding. Some women who qualify other ways, but she's been in game. She's also herself. She's also a mom. She has a son, and she is in her mid early 50s. And that's one Miss Virginia Sanchez. And I love her physique. One thing I don't like now is that she has tattoos. I mean, I
Yeah.
always liked her physique as it was before, and she has the tattoos. She has some on her forearms, she was what I call, she never got breast implants. That's what I liked about her. But that's why I would say technically, I would say she's almost last of the purest. It's not that many women in sport now that will have one or the other. I mean, and she earned a Olympic qualification back in I think it was 2020, but because actually in 2019, but because of what's going on in pandemic, she couldn't leave Spain. She has a son who has special needs, and she couldn't leave him behind. I remember she was doing a live stream and she was talking, and everybody was asking why you're not doing Olympia because she says no, I couldn't do it because the cost of travel, and then she couldn't leave her son because he has special needs and she wanted to be there for him. But she did be able to qualify for the 2021 Olympia, and I think she qualified for points. And Virginia, I always like she's really has evolved over the years. I mean, great physique, great look to her. I know some people who follow her who are friends of hers. I mean, she is like I said, she's an amazing woman. Like I said, she's possibly if she comes in the condition she came in the past, how she won her qualification in Romania, she could
Yeah.
possibly maybe win the show.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that as a possibility. She's definitely could be in the top five, maybe top one herself. She's a very sexy Spanish woman. Um, yeah, she's definitely one of those recognizable names that you can see on there and know right away who they are.
Yeah. She's on social media a lot. She has her OnlyFans, and she has other sites. I think she's on her biceps, and she trains hard. She puts in the work. I gotta respect her for that. She like I said again, if she comes in her top notch conditioning, there's a good chance. There is a good chance she's gonna win the whole kit and caboodle.
Yep.
She'll get her first because, like I say, as you know, with this show, it is Olympic qualification, so she'll get her second Olympic qualification. Actually, I would say her third Olympic qualification because the first one she didn't use because she didn't want to travel because we was hit by pandemic real hard, and she did come for the 2021 show, and she did compete at the last two or three Rising Phoenix, and she's impressive. Like I said, I'm a big fan. I'm a big Virginia Sanchez fan. I just love her look about her. She has like I said, she has an amazing body, great look to her, and especially for a woman in her early 50s to maintain that level of muscle. You know,
Yep. Yep.
yeah.
I think that's a pretty good summary of all the women competing this year for the Masters.
Well, this is something for women's bodybuilding,
Women's bodybuilding.
but we'll do this next Monday. We'll do a
Yeah.
summary on physique, and we might even talk about a couple of women in the figure division who's competing at this show, because
Definitely.
as you know, definitely it is a stack. It's a stack. I think with physique, it is a kind of a stack list. A lot of bodies, a lot of competitors. I mean, we're hoping all the best for all these ladies because you know what, women's bodybuilding it's going to be a hard year for it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it's
Like
going to be.
a lot of, you know, division, a lot of the cuts that happened with Puerto Rico and Indy. Yeah,
Yeah, and they getting kicked out of the the big man weekend and kicked out of Omaha, and it's just it's tough. I mean, I'm still feeling like especially when I heard about Puerto Rico, that was the one that really. I mean, what's going on? That's a Tim
I mean,
Gardner show.
it used to be where there used to only be three competitions a year, so like
Yeah,
I
well,
mean, it's been much worse, but still,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's I don't know. Hopefully next year they get more. Maybe they'll bring them back to some because I always say it's never say never. Um, these things can always come back. I mean, the Olympia, like everybody was saying, okay, that's it. It's going forever. That clearly didn't happen.
Mhm.
Um, and there's that. And oh yeah, this is yeah, it's gonna be one of those years.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a little tight for a while, but hopefully, if we get promoters and maybe sponsors who want to give the opportunity for women's bodybuilding, and this is why I say also, there's guys out there who has deep pockets who are fan of women's bodybuilding. They're undercover fans, but you can do this if you don't want anyone to know that you are a fan of women with muscle. Hey, reach out, hey, hire somebody to be representative. You don't have to say your name. Say I have a gentleman who wants to sponsor a show for women's bodybuilding. He wants to keep private. I'm his representative. I'll put the money for you can put the money for the sanction fees, so you can pay the millions their per diem, and then have the money for the prize money. Because and also for any other like I know I was talking with Paige. We did an interview last week where I said, if they could put some like some shows they put up some like like a special prize money like for best poser, most
Yeah,
muscular,
yeah.
stuff like that. I think especially where there's opportunity where someone can make a little money. I mean, it was no more than like $600-700. That even though hey they at least something they could get out of it instead of coming out of the way. And sometimes you just going for broke more or less.
Yeah, that's a hard sport to say the least, and
Yeah,
they're definitely not in it for the money.
yeah, that's a
So,
good thing. I
yeah,
understand that, but still, I think they should get something. They put as much into this sport, they should get something out of it.
yeah.
Hmm.
And before we go, I can't, without mentioning that today is May 1st. So today is, well, technically everywhere around the world, except pretty much here and a few other places, but today is recognized as International Workers' Day. So happy International Workers' Day to all the workers in the world. Um, and interestingly enough, um, International Workers' Day was chosen May 1st to commemorate the Haymarket Affair, um, which happened in America, interestingly enough. It technically happened May 4th, but 1886 when strikers were demanding an 8-hour workday. Remember that?
Mm.
Um, because it was the old saying 8 hours of work, 8 hours of rest, 8 hours of leisure. That was the old saying back in the day. Uh, yeah, and 4 were killed in it. There was a bomb blast. They blamed it on um, a couple anarchists at the protest. A few of them were sentenced to death, but then some were committed. I mean, what do you call it? What's the term?
Well, I mean, they were
Pardon,
pardoned, pardoned, yeah,
commuted.
commuted, yeah.
Um, yeah, and that particular date was chosen by the Second International um, which actually technically did it technically dissolve? I think it still technically exists today. It's called the Socialist International, but it was called the Second International at the time. And they chose May 1st to commemorate workers around the world. Interestingly enough, it's not celebrated in America, where it commemorates in Chicago.
That's a thing about America. You know, there's other countries where they have less time and work days, than we do. You know, in Sweden, in the Netherlands, they only have a 6-hour work day. Then you can have 2 weeks off with pay, and then you have your job don't have to give you health care. The country gives all the people health care. And America says, we can't do it here. We can't do it here. Sweden does. Norway does. I think also Finland and the Netherlands does. So you can't tell me we can't do it here in America, and you can't raise up the minimum wage. You know, it's about they want indigent servitude. They want you to put your life, because like I said, I worked, since I can remember. I used to do little stuff here once, like coming up family sharecroppers. I was old enough. I did a little work here and there, not much, but I did some. And I see my mom and daddy worked hard. They had to work, and especially my mom. And when I was 16, I had my first job, and then I got another job. Still have that first job. And then when I lost that first job, I still had that other job, and I got another job. And like I said, I know how to be the worker. I feel like this, people who put their time in this shit, like I said, like this, give people a 6-hour day. Plus also raise the rate, because what happens, people be more not as stressed. They have the money to take care of bills. I mean, and then I was watching a friend of mine, she sent me a video where how they say like how Republicans always giving tax cut to rich people. Rich people, they can afford to be rich. The rest of us can't. You can afford to take because, like I said, you think about this is why the inflation is happening now. Because when a certain president, whose name I will not mention on this channel because he's a dummy, he's duff, he gave rich people cash. And people say like he's a great president, yeah. But the fact was, he never know how to work. When he's born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He never had to work a day in his life. He never had to feed a family. He never had to take care of bills. It's back in the day when like if your parents was born in the 50s, when their parents was working, dad could work, pay everything, and still have money to take care of a family. Nowadays, both parents have to work. Sometimes both parents have to work. They even have 2 jobs between the both of them. It's a struggle. It is. Also, May 1st is a special day for me also, because a year ago today, May 1st on Sunday, I went to Rayford, North Carolina for the magazine day release party of Amazon Fitness Magazine. And I got to meet my dear friend, the lovely Miss Marianne Wachowski, also Aunt Amanda Schnooks. Got to meet a lot of people there. I might call, Mary Ann later and just say, hey, happy anniversary to her.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. That. But I did mention that, we do have a workers' day. It's just not on the day that pretty much every other country recognizes it, except for like a few. It's called Labor Day. And interestingly enough, that was actually started by carpenters. Carpenters, who was the guy? P.J. McGurry, Vice President of the American Federation of Labor. He's the father of Labor Day in the U.S. Died at a very young age, 50. Died drinking himself to death. So, yeah, one of those forgotten giants. And carpenters. My father was a carpenter. My grandfather was a carpenter. Those very important in my family, to say the least. So yeah, if you want to thank anybody, it would be the American carpenters for that.
Yeah, and you can't forget Jesus was a carpenter. People forget that in the Bible. Yeah, he was a carpenter. He was Joseph, his father, was the father that raised him to be a carpenter. And a lot of people
Yep.
forget that part. He was a carpenter. He used to make things with his hands, and that's a great, respectful, and honorable, profession, And you think about following the footsteps of your grandfather and father?
No, it just just for various reasons. I don't know. I didn't really take a lot after my father when it came to like that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, I was much more into like history. I was into art a lot too. Just like those kind of subjects, to say the least.
You were more of an intellectual.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Or me, kind of a geek and a nerd. I understand that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wish I had gotten studied a little bit more of a profession. Like, I was talking to the guy who
I
came
mean,
in.
I
Yeah, I
do
was talking.
still, I do unload trucks and work in retail, so like I
That's
do some hands-on labor.
Yeah, that's me. I did a lot of general labor myself too. But I said one thing I wish I did learn a trade, because you don't have to go to college for 4 or 5 years anymore. You can go to any good trade school for a year or two. I was studying massage therapy. That's a good trade. I mean, I wish my car didn't break down that year when it happened, but it's tough. We got here. A man. KLA says Ronaldo said he might come soon. I think. Well, KL, we ain't gonna be hearing him much longer. But if
Yeah, we're already pretty much. I think we're done at this point. I usually save these things for the end.
yeah,
But we might talk when we end the stream because I want to discuss some stuff with you.
all right. He said, yeah, Jen seems like he is a nerd, not in dictatorial. Yeah, yeah. Well, he's a smart young man. And this thing is, a lot of these guys who are nerd geeks. You look at Bill Gates. Look at those guys. Those usually guys end up being rich because they understand things that really is making money now. But yeah, he says. But next time he wants to come on, because like I said, he wants to talk to me about some stuff. We'll talk about that. But you know, we'll figure it out. But anyway, folks, um, it's a great conversation. We'll probably have a part two, because where it's going to be really dry for a while. I think we're going to have a show coming up in New York. Also, I might talk about a show where I might even talk about one of these physique shows, because we need something. We need conversations for it. We need to have some dry spots. We can fill them up here and there. It says, Jen, I picture you wearing glasses. Yeah, I don't
No,
think.
I don't.
No, I've seen a picture. You don't wear glasses.
Never have.
No, I think at my age now, I think I might need to wear glasses, because I know sometimes my eyesight's getting a little squinty, especially with 45. I need to make myself an appointment with an eye doctor. I need to make an appointment with a lot of things. I need to make an appointment with my doctor again, just to get myself checked out. But I know I got a call the other day about some tests. I got to get myself checked out, because we get to this age, you gotta stay constant. You gotta stay constant. So anyway, this is the Little Women's Body Pen. We just a lot of these ladies that some of these ladies, I feel like don't really have a chance. Others, there's some ones that look like they constantly might get maybe their second, third, fifth Olympic qualification, or some even their first. This is a debate why some were picked and some were not selected. I know a lot of competitors put their names out there, but you know how they go by either who's popular, who's in crowd like that. But I think all the ladies who deserve the opportunity to compete at this show. I wish they maybe instead of 17, make it 20, or even 20, or leave it at least even 18. Let one more person sneak in. I mean, I know. Like I said, one thing I said, I'm surprised Irene Anderson didn't put it, but I think Irene wants to still compete in open. But with Irene, even though she has a good amount of size, she's a big Swede. She's a big Swede, but her condition can be a bit off. I got to see her both when I got to see her Savannah and got to talk to her. I know Helen's not going to do the show because she's already qualified for Olympia, so what the hell, she's not going to do that. Who else I'm trying to think of? One lady who I follow, I mentioned to her husband, well, she's not going to do this. Nah, he didn't want to go all the way to Romania. I know I was talking to another lady said she didn't want to do it. Many of the ladies weren't sure there's going to be even that many competitors. I guess some, took a chance because this was one of the few shows outside of the country that was Olympic qualification. So so if you like I say, you want to get to you have to do what you got to do.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, folks, we like to thank you for coming through. My man KL, the Wanderer, also Roy came through. All you who listen to this video, like, comment, subscribe, support the sport of bodybuilding. And let's hope this could be a good show. I don't know if they're gonna, depending how my budget is by August, especially it's gonna be towards the end of August. I might check it out. It's all depending. Just like I said, might just watch women's bodybuilding and physique and lady figure, and that's about it. So that's it. Yep, that's it. Well, anyway, like I say, appreciate it. Thank you, folks, for coming through. And this is your man, always George Page, aka the Emperor from Bottom Talk. Right here, my man, the head of the Emperor.
Peace, everybody.
All right, peace. Have a great rest of the great rest of your week.